Hi there, welcome back. We're going to be having a look at the All Island Strategic Rail Review yet again, possibly for the last time. So this is going to be Chapter 6, Roadmap for Delivery. There is the two appendices after this, which I may go into or I may not, depending on the content. Introduction. The review has developed the recommendations outlined in Chapter 4 to create a plausible roadmap for achieving the goals and objectives of this study. This roadmap is structured to represent the key themes presented in the previous chapter. It has been designed to balance feasible delivery timelines, stakeholder priorities, and spending profiles to deliver each intervention by 2050. It presents a timeline for the possible future development and delivery of key interventions, broadly broken down as follows: short term, today to 2030, medium term, 2030 to 2040, and long term, 2040 to 2050. Further details about the potential phasing of interventions are provided below. Alright. Interventions. Alright, so short-term interventions. The interventions that could be delivered within the next 7 years, subject to funding and appropriate analysis and appraisal, are safeguard corridors, routes and key stations, so new lines, potential stations and major hubs, such as Portadown and Port Arlington. I don't understand what that point means. What do you mean safeguard corridors? Is that like preserve them for future construction? Develop and start to implement a rail decarbonization strategy. Well, yeah, I think that goes without saying, yeah. That should not just be the short term, but like now. Increase intercity service frequencies to at least hourly between Dublin and Belfast, Cork, Limerick, Galway and Waterford. Increase other service frequencies to at least one train per 2 hours between Galway, Limerick, Limerick Cork, Limerick Ballybrophy, Dublin Sligo, Dublin Mayo, and Greystones Rosslare Europort. Yeah, okay, yeah. Through services between Cork and Galway via Limerick, with modifications to track and platforms at Limerick Junction to allow more through movements Cork to Limerick. I mean, yeah, more services between cities not involving Dublin is good I mean, one, decentralizing Dublin, but also taking rail traffic away from Dublin where it doesn't really need to be going if it's not the final destination of people. Join regional services up to deliver more direct services between Galway, Limerick, Cork, and Waterford, for sure. Improve online capacity and line speeds on various parts of the rail network, such as between Limerick and Limerick Junction. Definitely. Build the Limerick Foynes Railway and develop concept for local passenger services between Foynes and Shannon Airport. Why would you go between? I don't like. I don't. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but why would you make a passenger rail service between the airport and like the port? Direct port to port service. Definitely get the train out to Shannon Airport. It's halfway there already. Just extend it a bit. Reduce freight track access charges. Well, yeah, in the short term for sure, and possibly even in the longer term, just to make it a competitive option. Because as was mentioned previously in the review, Ireland has one of the highest freight track access charges in Europe. Start to reinstate Claremorris to Athenry. Yes, come on, it's overdue. I mean, it was already planned in the past. It was just that plan was rolled back a bit. Start to reinstate Antrim to Lisburn with a station at Belfast International Airport. Oh my god, that one. Like, I don't know why they never did it before. It's right there. It's so. It's probably the easiest thing of all the recommendations in this. It would be the easiest to implement and have one of the greatest impacts. Examine feasibility of roll-on, roll-off rail freight with a view to reinstating the South Wexford Railway between Waterford and Rosslare Europort. Identify and deliver a solution for first mile, last mile rail freight access for Dublin Port. Continue to invest in initiatives that improve customer experience/integration. Yeah. I mean, yeah, those are all good recommendations. I mean, this one's kind of vague. Invest in improving customer experience and integration, but with the context of everything that was said previously in the recommendations, yeah, you don't need to expand on it really. Medium-term interventions. Interventions that are likely to take longer than 7 years to deliver, but could still be delivered or have made significant progress by the end of the next decade are: invest in developing the skills, supply chains, and rolling stock to deliver the rail decarbonization strategy. I mean, skill, yeah, that is one that's often overlooked. Having enough skilled workers to achieve all of the goals and objectives being set out. There's definitely a bit of underinvestment in the trades in Ireland, and like going to college is great and all, but there's possibly too many people going to college when trades are a perfectly viable and sometimes better option for some people. Deliver capacity and speed improvements to existing core intercity corridors and start rolling out overhead electrification and intercity routes. Oh, not just intercity routes. Come on, every route. Every route. Double tracked overhead line electrification. Please. Procure hybrid and electric rolling stock as each fleet comes to the end of their life. I mean, you know how I feel. I think it should all be electric rolling stock. Upgrade intercity routes to 160 to 200 kilometers an hour. Yeah, yeah, do it. Increase other line speeds to 120 to 160 kilometers an hour. Yeah, get it up there. Make it competitive with cars. Come on. Upgrade the cross-country rail network to a dual-track railway and increase commuter and intercity service frequencies. For sure. Absolutely. Not just the cross-country rail network. Dual-track, all of it. And even there's some that are cross-country, like Dublin to Sligo, that they're only saying, well, we'll dual-track half of it and then put the fucking loops in the other half. Develop new stations in Belfast, Cork, Derry, including Limavady and Limerick, Shannon City regions, and boost service frequencies in these areas, including Belfast, Coleraine, Portrush. Yep, definitely. I mean, the Limerick Shannon City region includes the town of Shannon, which is right beside Shannon Airport. So, if you get them all on the train line, it's just only gonna benefit you. Develop a network of inland rail freight terminals on the rail network. Yeah. Improve onboard experience through rolling stock procurement and renewal. Improve station experience through investment and expansion. Develop appropriate arrangements for planning cross-border and services. Start to develop a cross-Dublin solution. Start. I think you should start that in the short term, really. Start extending the railway from Portadown to Derry and Letterkenny. I mean, yeah, I guess you gotta start at some point. Alright, so long-term interventions. The interventions that will likely take longer to deliver in full, probably into the 2040 to 2050 period, are listed below. However, to reach these timescales, planning for these interventions will need to start soon, and some corridors may need to be safeguarded in the planning system to enable their future development. Okay, yeah, that is what I thought it was, that they're gonna reserve the land. So build new higher speed railways or four-track existing railways on busy corridors between Belfast to Newry, Drogheda to Dublin, and Portarlington/Kildare to Hazelhatch. This might be phased with some medium-term elements. Okay. Deliver a cross-Dublin solution and connect the heavy rail network to Dublin Airport. Really? That's a long-term intervention? What? But it's only like 6 kilometers away and it's mostly farms in between. Maximize segregation of intercity/regional services from local services. Complete the new railway from Portadown to Derry and Letterkenny. Yeah, you gotta get that done. Extend the railway in the North Midlands, Portadown, Mullingar, Athlone. Yeah. Build a new link between Maynooth and the Dublin to Cork railway. Yes. complete the electrification and decarbonisation of the railways. Excuse me, I don't know if you've been listening. All Island Strategic Rail Review, but I've been suggesting to you the whole time that you actually electrify all of it. Fuck that alternative decarbonisation. Electrify it. Please, 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 please. Okay. Phasing. As a program of multiple interventions, the roadmap can be implemented incrementally in accordance with policy priorities, demand growth, and funding availability. The phasing of the implementation of these interventions will need to be determined in detail by each jurisdiction. Some interventions may require distinct phasing themselves. That said, the review has taken the following considerations into account to develop an indicative timeline for delivery. Electrification and decarbonisation interventions are seen as a priority. This will enable rail to make a greater contribution to the decarbonisation of the wider transport system as soon as possible, while also delivering material improvements in journey times on existing railways. Many electrification interventions could be delivered alongside online speed and capacity enhancements, and so these are also prioritised in the early part of the program. Yeah, I mean, definitely, if you're already working on the rail, dual tracking it, redoing the alignment to make it faster, while you're there, just throw up some electrified lines. Why not? Due to the condition of existing corridors, the Foynes and Lisburn Antrim railways can be delivered in the relatively near future. Yeah, Foynes is definitely doable. Lisburn to Antrim, I mean, the rail's already there. You just need to open it again. Maybe fix it up a little bit. Iarnród Éireann's plans to expand rolling stock fleets should enable regional frequency enhancements and direct regional services to be introduced in the relatively near future. Yeah, I mean, they've already ordered a load of new trains just for the Dark Plus program, I'm sure. If they haven't already, then they will soon be ordering new rolling stock. Due to the current condition and alignment of the track, the Claremorris-Athenry Railway can be reinstated relatively soon. Yeah, I mean, like with Lisburn Antrim, we just need to fix it up a bit. Forward tracking Dublin to Clongriffin is essential to enable the intercity network to grow, followed by the Dublin Tunnel. Yeah, I don't know how they would do forward tracking between Dublin and Clongriffin, because it goes through so many residential areas. But I would be interested in seeing it for sure. The timing of the reinstatement of the South Wexford Railway should be informed by a general examination of the feasibility of roll-on, roll-off rail freight across the network. Yeah. I mean, the South Wexford Railway would make it very attractive for freight coming from Rosslare Europort. New railways are expected to take longer to plan and construct. To ensure a relatively even distribution of annual capital spend, it is recommended that new railways are built sequentially by each jurisdiction. Yeah, I guess I don't know how I feel about that one. And I'd like it to just be kind of, done and all in one go, but I understand that the budget is limited each year. You can't just throw money at it when there is no money for it, or when the money's limited, I mean. The roadmap prioritizes the Portadown Derry route over other new railways as it delivers key intercity and regional objectives for this review, and it serves a relatively large population. I mean, yeah, for sure. We saw that map. It's basically a line of large towns between Portadown and Derry. It's a no-brainer. It's a straight line of large towns that don't have any rail connection and would benefit from it. And conclusions and next steps. This review has examined the role rail could play in delivering a prosperous economy for the island of Ireland as a stronger backbone of a high quality and sustainable transport system. It has identified opportunities and interventions that, collectively, could transform transport connectivity and access, as well as accelerate Ireland's transition to a net zero economy. For sure. rail is going to play a huge part in transitioning to a net zero economy. Not just, in providing a different transport alternative for people, but also for freight. Just freight is a huge part of carbon emissions. The future development of railways in both jurisdictions will be, of course, directed by their respective governments and legislators. More work is needed to test the feasibility and environmental impact of many recommendations included in this report, as well as to secure necessary funding to take projects forward. This review does, however, provide an evidence base along with rationale underpinning recommendations for policymakers to consider as they develop their long-term investment plans for the Islands Railway. Yeah, and I think it would be not silly. What's another word? Yeah, I think it would be nonsensical. It would be practically ludicrous for policymakers to ignore these recommendations and not take on at least the vast majority of them. But that's it then for chapter 6. From what I saw, the appendices, there wasn't a huge amount in them. I may look into them in a later video, but for now, I'm going to call this the end. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the All Island Strategic Rail Review. So I hope you have had a nice Christmas and that you got lots of nice presents from Santa Claus, ate some good food, and that you have a happy new year. Thanks very much. I'll catch you in the next video, whatever it'll be.